It's new tent day. Now, if you're like me and you've spent the last, I don't know, however many months thinking about a new tent, what to get, researching 4 season, 3 season, and you've just had no idea about what to go for. You might see the dog in the back there. It's just making a bit of noise at the back. Then this video might be for you, because I've done a load of research and I have come up with one tent that I might not need to go looking for another one again. So hopefully this video helps you in your search for a good, and I'm going to say it, 4 season tent, and you'll know by the title anyway which tent I've gone for. So as if by magic, I've gone for the Terra Nova Southern Cross 2. Are we recording? And in this video I'm going to be running through some of the specs. It's a true 4 season tent, so you might not need to buy another one. This, I'm not going to lie, I've had this up in garden yesterday. The excitement of it all took over me, and I pitched it up. So I've had it up once, I've had a quick look around it, and it looks really decent. So let's get into setting it up and having a quick tour around the outside of the tent, and then I'll take you inside of the tent and we'll have a look at some of the specs and things like that. So yeah, let's get this bad boy up. So as you can see, it comes with the tent itself. You've got your red and your blue poles, your red poles being the end-to-end poles and the blue poles being the cross pole. You get a lovely set of pegs, a pole, whatever that is, I can't remember what that is, and you also get a carabiner. I don't know if I got that for free or if that comes as standard, and then obviously the carry cases for both the poles, the pegs and the tent itself. So just going to roll it out to start with. And you can see there that obviously it's all colour coordinated. You've got your blue holes for the blue poles and the red holes for the red poles. So what you want to do, nice and easy, start with the red. And then I'll just set up the blue. And then it's just a case of fixing the red into the red holes. I keep calling them holes, but they're eyelets. So the red into the red. There you go, nice and easy. You will notice as well that there are two eyelets for the poles. The first one is for keeping the tent nice and taut, like in the bad weather. If it's windy, you can put them into the first eyelet, and that'll just keep things nice and taut. And there's also, obviously, you've got your peg out point there. And then for the blue pole, you'll notice there's a slight curvature on it anyway. So just make sure that it is curved the way that you want it to be, because otherwise you're going to end up putting the blue pole through the sleeve that's there, that you might damage the sleeve. So just be careful of that and make sure that it's curved the right way. So then it's just a case of finding the sleeve. Popping the blue pole into the blue eyelet, and again same on the other side. There we go. And then you've got these nice clips that just clip onto the poles themselves. And what I already love about this tent is the fact that it's completely freestanding. You can pick it up, it's not too heavy. You can move it around to make sure you've got the perfect alignment and the pitch for your doors and things. And then it's just a case of pegging out all the corners to make sure it's nice and taut. And I'll just do this very loosely for now, but I can't tell you enough sort of how impressed I am with these pegs. The feel of them, really lightweight, and they feel really strong. But yeah, as I say, I'll peg this out real loosely to start with, and then I'll show you some of the other features of the tent. You've also got these elasticated straps to keep the tent all nice and taut in high winds. You can use those, which is really helpful, really good. And obviously you've got your guy out points. I've not used these yet, so they're still all tied up. But you've got your guy out points and also your tensioners. Really strong. I want to talk a minute about the fabric as well. The fabric of this tent just feels really sturdy. Terra Nova use a 30D nylon ripstop material for this tent, and it just feels quality. It feels so good. They've also included this little hood as well, which we'll go into in more detail when we're inside the tent. But if you were to open the door just a little bit for more ventilation, say to there, you see the inside there, you've got this hood, which will stop the rain obviously getting inside the tent. It's a really good feature actually. And then for the zip, you've also got this storm cover which holds over the zip, which is really good for stopping the rain getting in. It's a really nice little feature that. I like that feature. There you can see it more, you see it better there. So let me just show you around the inside of this tent. I've pegged out the elasticated loop there. I'll show you around the inside. Lovely zip with some Velcro patches to stop it flapping around if you have it unzipped. So one of the features of the door is that you get these little clips for the pole, which is a really good little feature. And you can just hook it directly to the pole there, and then it holds your door open, which is a really nice little feature. There's two of those, so you get one halfway up the door, and you also get one lower to the door, lower to the bottom. So you can actually put two clips on, so have the door fully open like that. You'll see there as well the vestibule space. Look at the vestibule space there. You get that on both sides. So it's really sort of symmetrical. It's a symmetrical tent. I was going to show you the other side then, but I'm not going to open that door just yet. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, really like loads of space in there to do your cooking one side, or you can have like your bag, your backpack in one, and then cook in the other. Let's open the inner. There we go. As you can see, looks like there's tons of space, tons of room in here. So I brought you inside the tent with me. As you can see, there's loads of space. I mean, I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1", and there's like another, I don't know, 20 centimeters between me and the inner. And what's good about the inner as well is that it's miles away from the Flysheet. There's loads of space, so if there was ever any condensation in your tent, then you've got no kind of no risk of the inner touching the outer fly. As I've said, it's really symmetrical. You've got the vestibule both sides. For the doors, you've got toggle tie out. I'm not going to do it. Everybody does it, don't they? They tie out the door with the. You've got two toggle points basically to have your door open if you wish. There's also a really nice feature. Let's get this door zipped. So on the inside, you can also have the ventilation cover open. You could just have that down, which is a really good feature. So you can still look out. You can actually still look out of the tent, but have this mesh to stop you getting attacked by any mosquitoes or nasties. Like I'm not a fan of slugs. I hate slugs. So my friend will laugh at that, but that'll keep all the slugs off you. So that's a really good feature. You've also got these for you can connect. That's not one, but you can connect either a line there to hang any kind of washing up that you want or things to dry, or you can use it for, you know, your lantern. You've also got either end for ventilation these things, so they'll just velcro on, but it's another mesh ventilation point, and you've got that at both ends, so that just goes back up there. You've got one at the other end there as well, and obviously the outer fly has ventilation points as well, and you've got the you know, the Dyneema cord that will stretch the ventilation out for you, so it opens up nicely. Now, as I've said, I'm 6'1", and I can lay down in this tent nicely. There's probably about another foot. There's about another foot at the bottom. Let me get right to the top, mate. Let me get to the top. This is awkward. But yeah, there's about another foot at the bottom for me, so there's plenty of space. I mean, to get a true sense of the space in this tent, I'd have to get obviously all the kit in, you know, the air mat and the sleeping bag and stuff like that, just to give you a true sense of the space of this tent. But it is, and the fabric as well. I just want to say, like, and I've said it a minute ago, and we'll run through some of the specs in terms of like the Dyneema cord that they've used and the materials and the you know, the PSU rating and the hydrostatic head and stuff. We'll go through all that in a second. But words can't describe just sort of how happy I am with this, with the quality of this tent. You do get what you pay for. And the downside of it is that it's a £900 tent, this tent. That's one downside, but Terra Nova have currently got a sale on. And I know if you're viewing this in a month's time, 2 months' time, that won't make much of a difference. But currently it's on the market for £900 retail. Terra Nova have got a sale on at the moment, bringing it down to £630 for this tent. So it's a considerable reduction. Still expensive, you know, still an expensive tent. But it is a 4-season. It's a true 4-season tent, so you're not going to be looking round for another tent after this one, I don't think. It's real quality tent. So I did pick up the 2023 version of this tent, which has had a couple of upgrades done to it, which I'll just talk through. So the first one being that there are adjustable upper vent hoods on the Flysheet, which obviously help with the condensation. There's also a revised adjustable Flysheet door tie, which obviously helps with the condensation, but also gives you that added optional extra in terms of having it open halfway. Excuse me, little burpingtons. So yeah, there's options for the door now. Right, so the spec. This is a 2-man tent, or they say it's a 2-man tent. Now, I mean, like I said, I'm 6'1" and I'm built like an absolute unit, so I don't think this is going to sleep me and another person, but it might sleep me and either my 12-year-old son or my 5-year-old daughter. I'd be quite comfortable in here with either of those, but not at the same time. So it's maybe like, I don't know, a 1.5-man tent, should we say. I don't think it's a true 2-man tent. You'd struggle getting 2 sleeping mats in here, let's put it that way. But a positive being, if you're taking it out on your own, there's tons of room. There's absolutely tons of room. So as I've said, there's 2 porches, there's 2 vestibules on either side. It's very symmetrical. Tons of space for your bag, tons of space for your cooking. There's 2 doors. There's a door on either side. It's a completely freestanding tent, so if you're out on the fells or in the mountains, you can pitch your tent, move it around, you know. It's a positive in terms of being able to get that sunset or that sunrise in the morning. The pack size is 42 centimeters by 18 centimeters. So it's not the smallest of pack sizes, but it's like it comes in at 2.1 kilograms, I think it said, which, you know, it's not an issue. If like me, I've got the Atmos AG65. And the anti-gravity system on the pack makes it feel much lighter than things are anyway. So if you've got a decent pack and it packs in there, you're not carrying much gear. It's just, it's preference, you know. Are you going to take a real lightweight tent over a real 4-season sturdy tent that'll see you through? You know, there are tents out there that are real lightweight that will stand up to, say, 50-mile-an-hour winds. But the space in here, it's... I'm happy, you know, personal preference and all that. The Flysheet, as I've said previously, it's a 30D nylon ripstop tent, and the quality of the actual fabric itself just feels steady, feels sturdy, it feels real solid, especially when you've pegged it out properly. I've not pegged it out properly today because I'm just doing it for the purposes of this kind of review. So Yeah, when you peg it out, you will see just how sort of solid this tent is, and it will see you right through all seasons. It's an amazing tent. So I've not actually been able to give you any information on the ground sheet itself, because when I went to look for the ground sheet online, there were quite a few places that had it out of stock, so I've not been able to buy it yet, but I will be doing before the Lake District. Now the spec, I can read you the spec for the ground sheet. Give me 2 seconds. So it's a Waterbloc 70D nylon PU 10,000 millimeters, which again, immense. What more do you need? The poles are 8.64 TN Reflex poles, Terra Nova's own poles. They're solid as well. And the pegs are Terra Firma pegs that come in at 13 grams. Now, you can swap out some of the pegs. We all know you can buy Delta pegs for the corners, which I probably will do before I head up to the Lake District in this one, just for security reasons really. But the pegs themselves, I've said it 2 or 3 times already, I'm really impressed with them. I think Terra Nova swapped them out. I think the previous pegs with the pre-2023 version weren't fit for purpose, so they've kind of upped their game on that one and included some really nice pegs. The Guylines, they're also Dyneema reflective, so if you're out at night time going for a waz, like I was with the Lanshan when I bust my ankle, you're not going to trip over any wires. So yeah, Dyneema reflective cord on the Guylines. Now, one of the other good things with this tent is the fact that Terra Nova actually provide a lifetime guarantee to the original owner of the tent. So if there's I'll put my teeth back in. If there's ever any issues with this tent in terms of quality or, you know, anything going wrong, Terra Nova will take the tent back, and because of the guarantee, they will fix any issues for you, and that's a lifetime guarantee, and that's on their website. There's also a guarantee on the poles. Now, if there's ever any issues with the poles, Terra Nova will also replace them. And that includes any accidental breaks. Now, the mitigating line that they've put in there is that is within 2 years of purchasing the tent. So any accidental breaks or, you know, bending of the poles that make the tent defective, Terra Nova will take the poles back and replace them for you if it is within the 2 years. So one of the things I do want to show you actually, which I didn't know when I first pitched the tent yesterday, was that they're in the corners of each, well, in each of the corners you've got these sort of pull straps. Just make sure that they're all taut, like tight, so it pulls out the basin of your inner. And that way you don't get any saggages and you get a nice taut inner. But yeah, all in all, a really lovely tent. I'm dead chuffed. You do get what you pay for, and I'm glad I paid for this one. So it does also have a tie-out point for the vents. You can tie them out, or equally, if you want the vents closed, you've got your little Velcro patch there, which will keep them closed for you. and that's it. You know, I've given you a full guided tour of the tent, the outer, the inner. I couldn't be happier with this tent. I'm not seeing any sort of negatives that I would think, you know, don't want to buy that tent. There's nothing that puts me off enough to go, it's not worth the money. Yeah, so the only thing to do next is to get out, test it, put it through its paces, and yeah, get back to you with, I don't know, like maybe a 3-year review or something like that, in terms of how, like, durability and the way that I put it through its paces and things like that, and just talk to you a little bit about any negatives that I come across when obviously like pitching the tent or like putting it through bad weather in all seasons. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and you know, there'll be more to come once my ankle's a little bit better. It's getting there, it's not too bad. It was rough for a while, but I can get back out on the trail now, get hiking, and yeah, hopefully take the Southern Cross 2 with me. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.